What's going on, guys? Connor back at you with another video. And honestly, I think I'm most excited that I've ever been to bring a video like this to you guys, and to the viewers, and to many more people that I hope see this video, because there's going to be a ton of awesome information in this video, okay? So, as you can see by the description of the video, it is labeled Buying the Next Bitcoin, okay? Buying the next Bitcoin. Am I buying a cryptocurrency? No. Am I buying Bitcoin? No. I am not buying any cryptocurrency. I'm not buying Bitcoin, but I am buying a company that has the potential to see the same upwards growth as early investors seen with Bitcoin, okay? And the reason for this, and the reason we can see so much growth, is because the company we're going to talk about here in just a second is at the forefront of the industry, of the market. There is no other company quite like them. They are the first in line, the first of their kind to do what they're about to do, or actually they're already doing it, but they're the first of their kind, okay? So there's no other real competitors for them to compete with, and they're going to take off, okay? They're going to take off. So I'm going to run you down what this company is all about. We're going to take a look at some of the people that have already partnered with them. And when you see these names that have already partnered with them, it is huge. Huge, big names that all of us have heard about, okay? So this is a long-term investment that I'm going to start building up a portfolio over time. I'm not going to just dump a bunch of money into it right away. I'm going to put some money here, and then I'm going to wait for it to fluctuate. I'm going to buy the dips, and I'm going to accumulate a good share size within this company over time, okay? It's a smaller market cap company, so you don't want to flood it with a ton of shares right now. We want to buy it slowly over time as it fluctuates and we have dips, okay? So the company we're talking about is Points International. PCOM. Again, I'll repeat that. PCOM. Points International. What does Points International do? Well, let's put it this way. Have any of you guys taken a vacation this year and you bought a flight out to wherever it was, Florida, the Bahamas, doesn't matter. You bought that flight and you probably got some type of rewards for buying it. So Points International focuses on rewards program. Like I said, it's not cryptocurrency, but it's a virtual currency just like cryptocurrency. It is completely virtual. It's not real money, but you get them by spending money and they accumulate over time. Everybody knows what rewards points are by now, okay? So the nice thing about the rewards and Points International is that rewards programs have been around well before Bitcoin, and they're more stable than something like Bitcoin, okay? Not to say Bitcoin isn't a good investment and that it's not going to be an absolute killer investment long term and that it won't be around for very long. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is that this virtual currency has already been around. It has proved its long-term worth within the market, but now we have a company like Points International that is making that whole market much easier to use. The problem with rewards programs is that we go buy something here and we go buy something here, and then next thing you know, we have like 30 different cards in our wallets that all have points on them, or we have a bunch of 25 different login accounts to redeem points only for one place, okay? The cool thing that Points International is doing, they're killing that old style and they're bringing in some new style. They're created a web-based platform in which they're partnering with all these big name companies for these companies to work with Points International, and really all it comes down to is that Points International is making a centralized wallet in which we can use all those reward points from each and every different company towards whatever we want to purchase from any of those companies. So let me repeat that in simpler form. If I go and buy something from Best Buy and I get rewarded 10 points, and I go and take a flight with Delta Air Miles and I get rewarded 100 points, I will now have 110 points in my Points International wallet. So every single time you get points for spending at a location that is partnered with Points, those reward points will go into your wallet, and you'll be able to use any of the points you've accumulated for purchasing any products or any service from any different company towards whatever you would like. The problem with the old style and old rewards program is whatever points that you accumulated were only able to spend at that business. So if you accumulated 3,000 points at Best Buy, you can only spend the points at Best Buy. But that's no longer the case. Those 3,000 points that you get from Best Buy will go into your Points International wallet, and you can now spend those on plane tickets, hotel stays. You can spend them on your vacation. So that is the big game changer. Points International has figured out a way to do that, and now they're partnering up with huge big name companies, and now their price of their stock is starting to move. We'll look into their stock chart here in just a little bit, but we're going to go over a lot more so you can have more confidence in this company. I already do. I've already started building up a nice portfolio with shares designated into Points International. Okay, so let's go ahead and just hop over here, and we're going to take a look at their website. Okay, so this is Points International's website. There's nothing, you know, I mean, it's a nice website. I mean, it's nothing super crazy. But the idea is I'm just showing you it's company.points.com. You can go here. You can do some more research yourself and, you know, make yourself more comfortable if you were to, in fact, take an investment on this company. All right. So as we move down, I really just wanted to aim in at this one specific thing here. We're going to click on to see all partners. So I want to give you guys an idea of just how many big name companies Points International has already partnered with. Okay, this is huge. This is going to give you a nice perspective on how big and how many moves that this company is already making. So you have Amtrak, Citibank. I mean, there's some few other ones in here that I know of. Flying Blue, Finnair Plus, Delta, Hilton, Rewards Clubs, JetBlue. I mean, there's even more. There's PayPal, there's Southwest, there's Speedy Rewards, Spirits, SPG, WestJet, Synapse. Okay, so these, what you're seeing here, are huge companies, big name companies that are partnering with a company like Points International because these big name companies see the value that Points International is going to bring. I mean, it's right there. You have all these big name brand companies partnering with Points International simply because they see the value that Points International is going to bring to their businesses. And that is basically easier spending for the consumer, easier spending at their businesses when it comes to the consumers, okay? It's going to bring consumers into their front door. If consumers can rack up many more rewards points that are available and redeemable at many, many more locations, okay? So that was just a quick rundown on the actual platform, their website, and the partners that they have working with them thus far. And it is growing. They're going to grow very quickly. Again, like I said, they're the first of their kind. So big moves to be made. All right. Now let's just take a look at some demographics, some market depth on the company, some things. So like I said, there's a lot of research I've done on this company. I'm very confident. I've already started, like I said, I've already started growing a portfolio with them. So let's go over this stuff. I don't want to make the video too long, but I want to give you enough stuff that you feel very confident about the video that I'm bringing to you, in the sense that if Points International grows as expected, early investors like I myself, I've already started investing, early investors are going to see, and when I say going to, I mean there's a very, very high probability that you're going to see upwards returns of 1,000, 1,200, maybe even 2,000%, the same type of growth that early investors seen with Bitcoin, okay? Because they're the forefront, just like Bitcoin is the forefront. They're the first of their kind. They absolutely killed it. PCOM is the first of their kind with the virtual rewards wallet program, okay? So with that being said, again, Points International is a company that's been around, or not Points International, but rewards programs. This whole idea has been around much, much earlier than a cryptocurrency like Bitcoin. So we already know that it has shown its truth, that it's a stable marketplace, and that it has a certain level of value that is useful to the everyday business and the everyday consumer. Okay, moving on. Just shy. It's just shy. It's not 4 billion, but I'll just say 4 billion. But there are just shy of 4 billion different rewards programs throughout the world. So imagine if Points International could capture 50, 60, 70% of those rewards programs. Huge growth, absolutely huge growth, okay? Secondly, the market for rewards programs, let me put this, not Points International, but the actual overall rewards programs market has grown from 1.68 billion to 5 billion within the past 5 years. So again, it's grown from it's grown from 1.7 billion to 5 billion within the last 5 years. That's a 173% growth rate within that specific market, which is the points and rewards programs through different businesses. So it's grown 173%, massive growth within 5 years, okay? So that's the overall market. That has nothing to do with points itself. That just tells you the market they're targeting has grown 173% within the past 5 years, okay? And a lot of people said I had to wear the fedora for the video, so I'm rocking the fedora. Okay, we got it on. We're feeling good. We're looking good. All right, moving on. PCOM, the company we're talking about, Points International, is valued right now at only at 129 million. So it's a very low market cap. It's a low cap stock. Okay, and before I move on from there, I want to touch on something here. Because it's such a low cap stock, it's flying under the radar of a lot of these big banks, okay? I'm sure the big banks and I'm sure a lot of these huge big-time investors know of it. Do they see the value yet? Maybe, maybe not, but the price of the stock is still very low. It's still a low-cap stock. So what that's telling me is that there's a lot more room for this to grow. Big investors have not yet come in and driven that price up, okay? There's value, big value in this company, but big-time investors and big banks still have not bought enough of it to drive that price up exponentially to the point where it's trading in a higher cap, higher marketplace, okay? So there's still a lot of room for growth, and the big-time investors have not yet jumped in, and that's why it's good for us young guns and younger or smaller investors to hop in and take advantage of that before it really pops, okay? Secondly, okay, continuing on, like I said, PCOM valued at 129 million. It's expected to hit a value of 2 billion or 3 billion within the next few years. So when I say 2 years or 3 years, within that general time frame, very soon we're expected to see 2 billion or 3 billion very soon for Points International. So it's going to jump from 129 million to 2 to 3 billion pretty soon in the next couple of years here. So like I said, this is a long-term investment. We're not day trading. We're not swing trading. We're putting the money in. We're buying the lows, okay, and we're holding. We're buying the dips. We're buying the dips and buying the dips and holding long-term. That's my game plan, okay? Revenue for PCOM, as far as revenue goes, in 2012, their revenue was 139.5 million. That was 2012, okay? In 2000, so from 2015 up till 2016, they have grown from 139.5 million to 321 million in revenue. So their revenue is continuously growing, and there's more to it. I'm going to give you a lot of information here, a ton of good information. So they've grown from 135 million to 320 million from 2012 to 2016. So very good growth there, okay? I've already covered that it's a low market cap, so a lot of those big-time investors have not yet really pushed the price of the stock up to the point where it's really, really overvalued and really high priced just yet, okay? Secondly, this is something, if you've ever watched videos on Warren Buffett or read some of his books, if you know anything about the style that Warren Buffett trades, he does long-term investing, but he's a very simple fundamental analyst or fundamental buyer investor when it comes to stocks. And there's one specific thing I'll never forget about Warren Buffett that he not told me, but I've heard from him multiple times, and even other investors and stuff that I've read, they will cite the same thing that I'm about to cite from Warren Buffett. And it goes like this. When investing long-term in a company, they have to be a strong company, okay? You can't just put your money anywhere. But when investing long-term and you're buying into a company investing, one of the single most important things you have to ask yourself is, does the company have a strong moat? Moat. I said strong moat. Well, some of you may be thinking, what is moat? A moat is, what does that company really have that others do not? What is going to make that company, or what do you see about that company that is so strong that it outweighs or will beat competitors, okay? So again, what makes a company so strong? What is their moat? Well, for Points International, that moat is the fact that they are the first company to make a web-based platform wallet that is going to track and collect all the points and rewards that you receive when you make purchases at these companies into one place in which you can spend it anywhere. So there's no company quite like them yet other than Points International themselves. That is their moat. They have a super ridiculously strong moat, and that's the fact that there's no one like them. They are basically monopolying this industry right now. There's nobody doing what they're doing. That is their moat. Another great example of a moat is Coca-Cola, okay? Coca-Cola. Their moat is literally their brand name. They have instilled, Coca-Cola over the years has instilled their brand name. The Coca-Cola, that symbol, that sign is their moat. It is Coke. When you go in and you ask for a pop, a lot of people just naturally, when they say pop, they think Coke. Coke is so strongly instilled in people's minds and in people's brains that when they think of getting soda or pop, they literally, their brain just thinks dark, fizzy, Coke product. That's all it is. So over the years, Coca-Cola has created this strong moat, and that's their brand, that's their idea. It's that we are basically the industry leaders when it comes to soda and pop. We're so big in the industry that when you think of soda or you think of a fizzy drink or a carbonated drink, you instantly think brown, dark, and then Coca-Cola pops your head. They have that strong moat. So for Points International, that moat is strictly their business model and for being the first people in this industry to do what they're doing. Moving on from that, there's really just a little bit more here we have to touch on. The fact that Points International right now on hand has 50, I know it's not going to sound like a lot, but it is kind of a big deal. They have 51 million in cash on hand within their bank, okay? 51 million in cash on hand to use as they see fit in the bank, and they have zero debt. They have absolutely zero debt. Now you may be asking, how does a company have zero debt? Well, when you think about what Points International does, they don't have a lot of overhead. They're not selling products. They don't have to store anything. All they do is run some of their expenses towards their web platform and their APIs, and basically that's what they spend most of their money doing, is making sure that their website and their platform and their online wallet and stays up to date. And, you know, they have the right security measures in place. So basically, all they have to do is spend a little bit of money upgrading and keeping up to date on technology as far as their web-based platform goes right now. So their one-to-one business model, which basically they program with all these different companies, or partner with all these different companies, they don't really have overhead, okay? They're making money basically from these other companies, okay? They have a strong business model in which they're not seeing any debt because they don't have overhead. They're not producing products. They really just have a web-based platform, okay? So that is another phenomenal aspect to this company. Of course, we're going to see Points International fluctuate up and down, and another great thing about this is it's not that it's 100% proof, but recessions and when the market drops dramatically, it's not going to affect Points International as drastically as some other companies, okay? And what do I mean by that, okay? So Points International, okay? Actually, I'm going to hop onto here into their chart for you guys. So this is Points International right now. We're going to go into a little bit of this. And I know it's a long video, but this is long-term investing, and long-term investing takes a lot of research and time, okay? So another great thing about Points International is it's almost like it's recession-proof, and it's going to handle recessions very well. And why is that the case? Well, when you have a recession and people can't afford things and gas prices go up and you know, the cost of living goes up and people may start losing jobs. They don't quite have as much money to spend on the things that they normally did when the market was good. Well, this is the way it goes. That's just the way it goes. But here's the thing, like Apple, Samsung, and Best Buy, and these companies that sell products, they, in return, might start dropping in business because they're selling something. Okay? People have to spend money to get what they're offering. That's not the case with Points International. Points International gives you and allows you to have access to basically free money for the spending that you're already going to do. Okay? So yeah, sales, not only say sales, but revenue may decrease like anything during recession, but not quite as hard as some other businesses because every single day, consumers are still going to have to buy. Okay? They're going to have to buy and they're going to find a way to buy. Okay? But they may be able to cut out unnecessary spending that they don't need, okay, on stuff like new phones and new laptops and new computers. You know, they'll cut out the spending that they really can't afford, but they're still going to spend their money where they see fit. And if those consumers are smart enough, they will sign up with Points International, in which they know that when they go and spend at the grocery store, and if they do decide to buy a new phone, or if they do decide to buy something from Best Buy, or they want to take a vacation, if they're smart, if they know that, that they'll be able to save money and rack up rewards points with Points International, which they'll be able to use those points wherever they want to go. So the spending won't stop, I guess you could say smarter spending, dumb spending will stop. People will start cutting out the stuff that they can't afford during recessions, but the spending won't stop, and they'll still spend where they need to, like grocery stores. And if they are partnered with Points International, they're just going to be earning money back that they'll be able to spend everywhere else. Okay, so Points International really does not lose in sales. They just may be collecting a little bit less revenue because people are spending less in the long run. Okay, so they're still going to be making money during recessions. They're not they're going to get hit because they're not making sales. They don't have to make a sale. They just need people to purchase, and purchasing is never going to stop. Spending is never going to stop. It may just slow. Okay, but people can stop buying new phones and people can stop buying new cars because they don't really need it. But people still need food. They're still going to have to buy appliances and different stuff. They're just going to cut back on that, but the spending will never stop, which means the revenue and the chunk of money that Points International gets for each one of those sales is not going to stop, even during recessions. Okay. Lastly, in 2017, or for the end year of 2017, Points International is expected to hit about 346 million. Okay, so 2016 revenue was 321. 2017, by the end, they expected to be 346 million, and in 2018, they're expected to be 370 million, worth 370 million. So as you can see, the growth, it just keeps going. It keeps going, and that's because Points International is going to grow, and it's going to continue to grow as all these companies, big names companies, shift over, and those reward programs start being eligible and applicable with Points International. Basically all I got for you. That was a lot of talking there, but I do want to touch on a few things here. We're going to look at their stock chart. So looking at Points International, really there's only one thing I want to go over with you guys. I'm actually just going to delete some of these drawings off. I can always go back and redo them. But the one thing that I wanted to show you guys is we're going to take a quick look here at their daily chart. This is their 1 year chart. So we can even start it off 3 years. You're going to see that they're valued at about $30, and then they just drop. So actually, it's just a 5. If we go to a 5 year chart, so let's take a look here at a 5 year. Ooh, what happened there? Let's take a look at a 5 year chart. One day, you'll see that they're valued at $30. Okay, so valued at $30, and then they just went down, 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 down. Okay, so people may be saying, well, that's scary. I don't really know. I'm not sure. And you don't have to be sure. You don't have to invest. You don't have to. I'm not your financial advisor and saying you got to buy this, you got to buy this. This is what I'm doing. And I just gave you a whole list and reasons as to why it's a good company, more so than you probably know yourself when you're investing in something, okay? So I just gave you a whole list of stuff as to reasons why. And it's up to you to find the reasons why you shouldn't. And if those reasons why you shouldn't buy into something like this outweigh the reasons why you should, then you have your answer. But for me, there's one big thing that I mentioned on my live stream the other day, and it's something that my dad taught me a long time ago. When you see an unusually high spike in volume that you have not seen in a company in a long time, or that you've never seen in a company, there is usually some underlying factor or something that you're missing that other people know of that you don't, okay? And when you see unusually high volume spikes, that usually is a good sign. Usually there's something beyond the horizon. Let's see, where is it? Right here. See that volume spike? Look at this. Over the past, maybe I could shrink this down. Okay, so look at over this whole 5 year period. Sure, there was a big volume spike right there, but look at that was right after an earnings date. Okay, that was right after an earnings date, so it was a huge spike in volume. People selling off probably could have bad earnings, right? But if you continue, there's never quite been a volume spike this high. Look at that volume spike right here in this area. Huge volume spike, and it wasn't because of earnings. And sure, the price went up because, I mean, volume, price went up, that makes sense. But that volume spike is starting to raise some pretty big interest. It makes me curious why all of a sudden a really, really big spike in volume like that. I'm going to tell you, I was not a part of that buying. I actually bought the dip right here. I bought in the dip at 982, and now I'm holding right now. And I'll just continue to buy the dips long term. Okay, but this thing is starting to gain traction. Its 52-week high is $10. We're right at about that, so we're soon to break through the 52-week high. Yeah, some people would say that this is going to be This area is going to act as resistance, and the price won't get through and it'll get rejected. Sure, that could happen right now, but in the long term, in the long run, it's eventually going to go through. Okay, it's on an uptrend. It is. If you look at this chart, okay, if you look at the chart, it basically had support here a couple times, bottomed out. Okay, we bottomed out there, and now we're on an uptrend. And the tide has changed, and the trend has changed, and now we're on an uptrend, and we're back to crawling back up. And not only are we uptrending, what's nice is this accommodation with this massively huge volume spike of over 1.5 million shares, just at about 1.8 million shares traded that day, raising curiosity, making me interested. So once again, thank you guys for joining in. That is all I have for you today. That is my long-term investment as of right now. If I find other great ones I feel have value that I'll bring to you, I will do so. But as of right now, PCOM is it for me. This is a long-term position I'm going to have for many years, even when the market corrects itself. You hold on to those shares and you buy the dips. Want to know why? Because the market always comes back.